Chapter 5. Childhood's Last Summer. As the scorching sun rose over the sleepy town of Beanfield, Mountain Cap and Johnny Pulaski found themselves standing at the crossroads of destiny, their fates hanging in the balance like a pair of socks on a clothesline in a hurricane. They were no longer the carefree boys of summers past, but two young men with dreams as big as the Texas sky and aspirations as lofty as Olympus Mons. But as the days stretched into weeks and the weeks melted into months, it became increasingly apparent that this summer would be unlike any other they had experienced before, a veritable roller coaster ride of highs and lows, twists and turns, and enough drama to rival a soap opera. For Johnny, the allure of the party scene proved to be like a siren's song, luring him into a whirlwind of late nights and wild escapades that would make even the most seasoned frat boy blush with envy. He was like a moth to a flame, drawn inexorably toward the bright lights and the promise of adventure, heedless of the consequences that lay in wait. And Mountain, ever the steadfast friend, watched with a mixture of amusement and concern as Johnny careened through life like a pinball in a machine, bouncing from one misadventure to the next with the grace of a drunken elephant on roller skates. He tried to intervene, to offer sage advice and words of wisdom, but his efforts were met with stubborn resistance and a healthy dose of skepticism, as Johnny forged ahead with all the reckless abandon of a bull in a china shop. Johnny was arrested for stealing a car outside of the country club. It cost him both his job and his freedom. It did not cost him his friendship with Mountain, however, but Mountain was perplexed by Johnny's selection. For Johnny didn't steal a Corvette, but a Chevette, and worse yet, got caught doing so. The drugs and the booze seemed to diminish his ability to make quality decisions, and also hurt his ability to get away with things. Mountain didn't judge Johnny for his crimes, but he did find him to be a little sloppy and lazy in his criminal and mischievous acts as of late. For Mountain, the summer was a time of soul-searching and self-discovery, a journey of introspection that took him to the very depths of his own heart. He golfed and worked as a caddy less than in his previous summers at Shady Pines. He grappled with both disappointment and despair, wrestling with the demons that lurked within his own psyche, but he refused to give in to these forces. With each passing day, he fought tooth and nail to stay afloat in a sea of liquor and drug addiction, clinging to the promise of a brighter tomorrow with all the tenacity of a drowning man clutching at a life raft. Both his golf and spreadsheet skills were drowning under the weight of his many addictions. At one point that summer, Mountain calculated that his two largest expenditures were beer to drink with and Vaseline to cheat with. And then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, Mountain found himself standing on the tee box of destiny, staring down the fairway of fate with a steely gaze and a heart full of determination. He had entered a regional golf tournament on a whim, a last-ditch effort to salvage something from the wreckage of this summer of shattered dreams, and against all odds, he emerged victorious. The prize money was enough to turn Mountain's fortunes around, to pay Johnny's fines, and hire him a lawyer to help get him out of jail. And as he stood there, basking in the glow of his hard-won victory, Mountain knew that he had finally found his purpose, that he was destined for greatness, not just on the golf course, but on the course of life itself. But even as he celebrated his triumph, a pang of sadness tugged at Mountain's heart. Johnny's arrest had cast a shadow over this particular summer, leaving Mountain grappling with feelings of guilt and regret. He could not shake the feeling that he should have done even more to help his friend, and that he should have been there for him when he needed him most emotionally, not just financially. And to add insult to injury, Janie, Mountain's neighbor and Johnny's girlfriend, seduced Mountain in the wake of Johnny's arrest and subsequent incarceration. The two of them quickly struck up an ethically questionable relationship during Johnny's short time behind bars, and for a brief period were inseparable, like two peas in a pod. It broke Mountain's heart to see Janie and Johnny get back together again upon his release, but not because of losing Janie, but rather because he missed his best friend more than words could say. Mountain was so very awkward around females during his entire life up to this point. Every female in Beanfield, even remotely his age, had turned him down before Janie. So Johnny was able to forgive Mountain much quicker than he could forget this infraction of their friendship. For truth be told, Johnny knew that Mountain was, in fact, more at home in a spreadsheet than in a woman. As the summer drew near to an end, Mountain found himself at a crossroads, his heart heavy with the weight of missed opportunities and broken dreams. But even as he mourned the diminishment of his friendship with Johnny, he knew that he had to keep moving forward, that he had to find a way to carve out a new path for himself, no matter how daunting the journey that lay ahead. And so, with both a heavy heart and a determined spirit, Mountain bid farewell to Beanfield and set out for Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, where he had earned a partial golf scholarship. Mountain did not enjoy needing to say, "at Carbondale," every time that he mentioned his university, but felt compelled to do so since Southern also had a campus in overly litigious Madison County, Illinois. This was not the future he had envisioned for himself. He would have much preferred to get a full ride to Northwestern, where he could earn big caddy dollars and win golf bets at the expense of upper-crust 1%ers. But it was a start, a real chance to turn his life around and make something of himself, even in the face of overwhelming odds. But as he drove away from the only home he had ever known, Mountain could not help but feel a sense of sadness wash over him. For he knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, fraught with challenges and obstacles at every turn. But he also knew that he had the strength and tolerance to overcome whatever obstacles lay in his path, and that as long as he had his golf clubs, his spreadsheets, and his dreams, he would never be truly alone.